Peace. This is Filadel Castro from the infamous magazine. I'm here with Thirstin Howl the Third, aka Vic Low from Low Life. State your name, fam.
Hey, Thirstin Howl the Third, Skillionaire Enterprises and all that.
Okay. What's good with you, Big Vic?
You already know. Up early, about to get my Hulk on. Finish eating my egg whites. I'm on the hard.
Okay. So what's new on the music side, man? I mean, truth be told, you're like a quiet giant in the game, man. You definitely you're definite lyrical force to be reckoned with. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the newer cats don't really know that you paid a lot of dues back in the Lyricist Lounge era. You was really primed to be like one of the next up-and-coming lyricists in New York. So what you got going on as far as your music? What's new?
Well, for one, I got my own label. I've always had my own label, always been 100% independent. Skillionaire Enterprises. The same with the films. I got the Skillusions Film Company. I do all my own videos with my own team. Direct. I write, script all my own stuff out. So, right now for the 2000 LL, we got a whole bunch of stuff dropping, a whole bunch of new artists on the label, super skilled lyrical heads like the Booze Brothers. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I'm about to officially drop my long anticipated Natural Born Skiller joint.
Okay.
I worked on the joint for mad years. Got a lot of good guest appearances. I never really been into the guest appearance thing. I just use my low life family most of the time if I wanted to feature anybody. But on this one, I kind of flooded it with guest appearances. You know what I mean? But the Natural Born Skiller album it's a banger, man. And shot 10 videos for it already. I'm releasing them here and there. As well as I got another album I did, a new Spanglish album I did with Hurricane G, me and her together. It's going to drop next year. It's called Mommy and Poppy. I mean, all these projects, fully complete. I got my Jail Recipes DVD ready now. I'm about to start distributing it. The same with the new Big Cousins Payback movie. It's like the Puerto Rican movie part 2 called Big Cousins Payback. So, keep a lookout for all of that. Illuminati mixtape dropping later this month. Then we got TMP coming up, the Booze Brothers, Big Cousin, the German Regime, Philo coming back up with another album. And, I'm working a lot with my boy Spit Gems right now, too, trying to help him put all his stuff together.
Spit Gems is nice, man. Spit Gems is nice. That Fearless joint is that's a firecracker right there.
Yeah,
nice
son, get busy.
And he's humble.
Yeah, you already know. That's how, that's how most of the strong cats really are,
Right. Yeah, true that indeed. I mean, it speaks for his character. You know what I'm saying? When I met him, he was humble, you know what I'm saying? But I can tell he ain't no sucker at the same time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Spanish records, man, I think a lot of English-speaking cats sleep on it. I mean, you got, like, the joint with Daddy Yankee. That joint was bananas. You know what I'm saying? The other joints with Hurricane G. I forget the name of the tune, but the one where you were in Peru with the video with Don De Niro.
Oh, Con Calma.
Yo, that's just bananas. You know what I'm saying? Talk about that real quick and how that translates into not just the New York scene, but the hip-hop scene. Like, how is it? Because it's almost like I could see you having two different fans, like two different fan bases for that. One for the Spanish-speaking, because it's still hard, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like, reggaeton kind of switched up the Spanish hip-hop movement and made it a little bit more commercial and more, Miami clubbish. You know what I'm saying? But it's still just as hard as the as the English New York styles you be dropping. So speak on that real quick.
I mean, first, the Con Calma joint, which is the remake of the Jam Rock, the Welcome to Jam Rock. One, I'm inspired by music, man. I'm a fan first, so that jam rock song and that beat, when I first heard it, it had me open every time I heard it, and I was like, man, I got to get my hands on this beat. I want to touch this. And, like when I hear something and I'm inspired, I could do the song in 5 minutes, the hook, all that. So, you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's what inspired me to do that song. And I was like, how can I do this different? So I said, let me do it in Spanish. Now, I give reggaeton a lot of credit because when reggaeton blew up, they really acknowledged Spanish rappers more, even though a lot of that wasn't rap, but a lot of these artists were real rappers, but they were forced to go, that was the commercial route for them, to go to commercial, to do what they had to do. But when reggaeton blew up, man, a lot of Latin rappers got a lot more light, way more light. And, I'm not a fan of reggaeton. I never was really into it or nothing like that. I didn't grow up around it to really be inspired by it, but for what I do, I'm a straight Brownsville nigga, and I go hard. I like to go hard with everything I do. Not that I'm trying to be tough or anything. I like hard music. I like a hard sound. I like a lot of profanity in my music and all that. So I had to come with it like that for the Spanish because, in New York, hip-hop was created, by Puerto Ricans just as much as everyone else, man.
No
know
doubt,
what I mean?
No doubt.
I had to represent it from that aspect, from the language of it, man, to show. Like, I always was inspired by Spanish raps.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that Spanish raps existed from the beginning of hip-hop. It's not a new. A lot of the groups that were coming out in the early days always had, like, a Puerto Rican member in the group and who would give you Spanish rap intertwined. Like the Mean Machine, Disco Dream, all that. There was a lot of rappers who did it, and it always got me hyped because it was something that was rarely done. So when I actually started rapping, I always wanted to do that. And, Master Fool, Master Fool was my partner in the beginning stages of everything. Master Fool was all black, but he played baseball on a Spanish team, so he knew so much Spanish. It was crazy. He used to be pushing me in the direction, let's do the Spanish. Let's do Spanish this. So, I started attacking it more. Now, the crazy thing is as far as, the market goes and as far as, fan base and audience, like, I'm underground. So a lot of the underground stuff is accepted globally, So I have a global acceptance and a global fan base. So a lot of my fans who bought my albums in all these different countries didn't even speak English. So when they were buying my English albums, it was no different when I put out a Spanish album. They didn't speak English and they bought it. So when I put out the Spanish albums, it had the same effect. It had the same impact. I didn't have to change markets. I didn't have to go in a different direction to push it or sell it. You know what I mean? And the crazy thing, I dropped my first Spanglish album was La Cura.
Okay.
Now, I remember, I'm independent, so I'm pushing it however I can, underground distributors, and I still do hand-to-hand, you know what I mean? So it was places I go, and I'm selling a Spanglish album. My first customer was black. My second customer was white. My third customer was black. My fourth customer was black. My fifth customer was white. It wasn't until 10 customers later where somebody Spanish actually bought my Spanish shit. You know what I mean? Because I think in the way I put it together and made it happen, I could make everybody relate. No matter what color you are. As long as you love hip-hop and you accept, the real hardship hip-hop and the hardness and the straight-up real, you're going to love it. And, you won't get lost if you don't speak Spanish because I intertwine that much English in it, and it makes it acceptable to everybody.
I heard Nori one time, I think it was in the Chosen Few documentary, when he was saying a hit is a hit, no matter what language it's in. He was like Michael Jackson sold records all over the world. It didn't matter if they understood him. You know what I'm saying? A hit record is a hit record. You know what I mean? And I think that translates well into your style because, like I said, you got Spanish dudes that rock, and they can lose people. You know what I'm saying? But then you got cats like you, even like the beat nuts, you know what I'm saying? They don't really get that heavy into the Spanish, you know what I'm saying? But the New York still comes across, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're a fan, like you can still smell the subway piss when you're hearing these cats rap in Spanish, you know what I'm saying? It don't take you all the way somewhere else. That's what's up, though.
I go hard in Spanish, man. I'm ready to go all Spanish with it in a minute.
Nah, you tough. You tough. You definitely tough, man. I mean, like I said, I didn't even know until somebody gave me an iPod once, and it had a bunch of your stuff on there, and that's when I heard the Spanish joints, and I was like, yo, you know, like you said, and a lot of these dudes really was rappers, like Tego and a couple other cats, you know what I'm saying, was really MCs. You know what I mean? Julio Voltio, a bunch of these other dudes that really had to go into that reggaeton lane to get the exposure. You know, but it took me to that era, like, you know, of these cats that really could spit. You know what I'm saying? Like spit. You know, you can hear the big in from, even though it's in Spanish.
Yep.
But how do you feel right now about? We're gonna talk about like the future, the current movement inside of the lowlifes, how it's going into the music. You know, how do you feel about the current guys, and who do you think is the future? Like, to me, I feel like you and Rack really paved, you know, set the foundation. Like, boom, okay, you know, this shit happened on the mic too. You know what I'm saying? Yep. You know, we did the boosting thing. Like, you know, we rushed our way into this. You know, and set a trend that went worldwide. You know, now we got a foundation for y'all to do this lyrically. And in the videos, too, because I know Gems is doing videos, you know what I'm saying? And Compe Boca, you know what I'm saying, is doing the videos. So speak on that.
I mean, the future, man, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, the entire time I've been doing this, and since I started, anytime I try to predict where everything would go, I was always wrong. It's so unpredictable what's going to happen, man. You can never predict it. Everything changed in forms and fashions that I didn't even imagine, you know. So I'm just happy right now that the low life movement is what it is. Like, it's big now. It's accepted. Everybody wants to be a part of it. Everybody wants to be a low life again. Even this is how it was back in the 80s and 90s, you know. But it's bigger than even it was back then, you know, because now it's global because of the technology and because of what we did musically. Now, like I said, I'm a fan first. If I ain't loved it and I ain't enjoying it and being inspired by it, I don't want to do it. Now, you know, cats like the Booze Brothers inspired me. You know, I'm a heavy competitive lyricist. So when I get people that are skilled and good, it makes me 10 times better because I'm inspired. It brings out, you know, just like I got my man TMP. You know, Gems does that to me right now. You know, mayhem in action. Like right now, the movement is that strong and being pushed that hard to where we flooding it. Everybody's doing so much that you better stay on your toes. You know, it's healthy competition amongst the family to keep everybody on their toes, you know, to keep everybody in training. You know what I mean? So my whole thing is I want us to be mainstream. I want mainstream. Like, not saying you don't have to sell out and make the kind of music that you don't want to make, but we still have a chance to go mainstream just doing it the way we do it. You know what I mean? Just being ourselves. Like, you know, throughout my whole career, I had deal offers. I had everything. You know, I've been approached in every aspect, man, for what I do. But I never wanted to change me being me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here now because I just been myself. When I wrote my music, I was being myself. When I did my videos, I was being myself. Everything I did creatively and all that, all I did was be myself. And to me, it was the greatest thing. I didn't have to come fronting. I didn't have to come lying. You know, I just was myself, and that's what paid off. That's what life should be about. That's, to me, that's success. I'm being me, and it's valuable, you know?
No doubt.
So I love seeing the now. What happened?
Now, honestly, what I was about to interject, I mean, like the cats you was naming, Mayhem and them dudes, Gems, yourself. I mean, for real, it's like y'all got New York rap on y'all backs. You know what I'm saying? Right now, that's like the new sound. It reminds me, like you said, like how everybody wanted to be low life in the 80s and 90s. It reminds me of that era in music again. You know what I'm saying? Like I could feel that still. You know what I'm saying? I lived in Atlanta for a minute in the 90s, and I remember missing, I'm from Philly. I remember missing, like, rusty bridges. You know what I'm saying? Like, subway piss, graffiti, blunt guts on the sidewalk. You know what I'm saying? Crackheads. Like,
all
you miss that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel that back in the music. You know what I'm saying? It's like real, like, box cutter music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it reminds me of, like, that Gore-Tex. Winter was different then. Winter felt different than it do now. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I feel that. I feel like, it's there's a connection that's being made there between low life and New York music coming back to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely feel what you're saying. Like even with the mainstream thing, like I said, I think right now the movement that's going on, y'all paving the way for everybody else to come out of New York after y'all.
Yep.
You know
I mean,
saying?
right now, even there's artists that's still doing it crazy, like the way Raekwon is doing it. Like, he just did that new video with Nas that I think was Young, Rich and Black or something. But, like, stuff like that, when I see those videos like that crazy, that inspiring, I encourage everybody else, push this, be behind this, because this is what will help us. If the more this is accepted, the more we're accepted, vice versa. You know what I mean? This is our style. This is our culture. This is our way of life, being from here. Like, to me, the New York shit always been top dog trendsetters of the globe. You know what I mean? This is the fashion capital. And this is the Mecca. That's the way, on my new album, I got a song called The Mecca. And I explain all it. You know what I mean? This is the motherland. This is, we have our new prophets. The new Bible has been written. We have our prophets within our religion, which is hip-hop and things like that, for the world to understand. Because, the whole world followed us. Nothing else has bridged the gaps of the world like hip-hop except for currency. You know what I mean?
Right.
There was never that great to really get the people's attention and to take over a person's whole mind state. And, that's and mannerism and all that. You know what I mean?
And all that happened inside of like 30 years, 40 years, too.
Yep. And it's not over. Look, it took over corporate America.
Right.
But, they helped destroy it, but it still took it over.
You're right. That's what's up, though. So even jumping into the corporate side, where do you see the future for the whole low-life movement? I mean, I'm seeing, like you said, the Skillionaire, Rat got his clothes. A lot of cats is being approached really with deals and being scouted by labels. Where do you see the low life movement in the future? I know you said you was wrong with predicting a lot of time, but where would you like to see it go? Put it that way. Like, I mean, it's in France, it's in Japan.
I want to see it more mainstream and more financially big. You know what I mean? Like, I want low life to benefit from it from a financial standpoint. You know what I mean? We've already made history. This, if we can bring it back for New York and put New York back in the forefront, like, look how long they've considered Pac and Biggie the greatest, right? Pac was the greatest, Biggie the greatest. They don't even talk about people before them and all that. They just put them in the category of who was the greatest. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing. Whoever brings New York back and takes over again with New York is going to be considered the greatest of all time, ever, because of that. You know what I mean? Because the way it was taken from us, it wasn't taken from us with skill. It wasn't taken from us with nothing but media push and promotions and you know, and flood. It was flooded on us as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to take that again to do it again. Like, I tell you no lie. You know what I always felt? Like I said, I could be wrong because I've been wrong many times. I've always felt like the Spanish stuff will bring New York back and put New York in the forefront because of the majority of Spanish people living here. And not only that, because anything that has taken over is something that was never done before. It has to be something that's never been seen, never been done. You know what I mean? So, like me being the kind of rapper I am, with my versatility, I've never seen that done in no artist to be that versatile and to change it up to so many different aspects of style and skill and, you know, concepts. You know what I mean? So, hopefully, man, I hope I have a big say in how everything changes. I hope I'm a big part of that. You know what I mean? I hope we get paid for it, too, at the same time. You know what I mean? Like that. But I really can't predict where it's going to go, man. I just know whatever happens, we're going to be here. Because, you know, I've been here for a minute already, and I've never had a deal, never had a label pay for my videos or you know, all that stuff that you get when you sign to a label or you get picked up, you know. I've never had any of that. But my consistency and my output has ran over so many people, even those in the game with budgets and everything. I can keep up with everybody. The only thing I haven't had is the mainstream airplay. You know what I mean? But now with the social networks and the internet, this is going to be the mainstream airplay. Is almost there. Being on Facebook and having your video on rotation and on Facebook is just as big as being on BET. On 106 and Park. It's the equivalent now because of all the people that are watching. You know what I mean? People, and not only that, people are choosing it. You know, you're forced to everything else everywhere. People are choosing to watch us, to listen to us, to follow us. You know what I mean? Not that somebody's force-feeding, you know?
Right.
So I ain't going nowhere either, man. I'm coming hard, man. I got albums stacked up for days. I work. You know what I mean?
No doubt. And I think one of the things that really has to be credited to you, too, you know, and this, you know, it's infamous as a graffiti mag. So, you know, one of the things that I noticed about 90s graffiti dudes and 80s graffiti dudes that lacks today in the game is that these dudes, like you said, were big and certain cats were kings up until this era. Still, people consider them kings, but they did all this inside of real-life struggles, jail time. You know, cats would go upstate for 5 years and still come home and be a king. You know what I'm saying? So I got to credit that to you in the same aspect, is that you still had your real-life struggles going on and still maintained relevance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You still kept it on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't. I can't remember a period where you fell off. You dig me? Well, you might have went away for a little bit and came back, and if the nigga wasn't reading interviews, he didn't know you went away. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I got to salute you on that half, because it shows for not just your talent but your work ethic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You definitely put in the work.
Yeah,
so,
you know, a lot of this stuff I really like. You know, I'm an engineer. I mix, I engineer, I produce, I direct, I write the scripts. I'm hands-on on all of my projects, from all my films and everything. I've written all my films 100% totally by myself. Like, I'm not even sitting with no one in the room bouncing ideas back and forth, you know? Like, I work with different directors, like my man Jokes. You know, I work with my team, Scollusions, Boxlow, Dre Brown, Mr. Rompe Walker. You know, these are part of my team. These are the people I build with now. But the only reason I got a chance to get all these people was by how much I did on my own, to show people, all right, nobody want to do this? All right, I'm going to do it. Just like, no, we didn't have a studio. Nobody want to let me in the studio. Nobody want to let me in their house to see what they got. So I'm going to get my own stuff. You know what I mean? I'm going to build my own, you know, but it proved, you know, I proved what it is to be self-sufficient, man, because my name Thirsty really came from being thirsty like that. Like, you know, my hunger for whatever I'm into at the time, because, you know, I've changed interests throughout my life. And once I got into this rap phase, like, my hunger, is unstoppable. It's times, you know, I go, like you said, I go through my life struggles and all that, but in the back of my mind, my first and my everyday thought is this, is what I'm doing. There's times I wish I could quit, and I don't know how. I don't even know how to stop. That's the God's honest truth. I don't even know how to stop. And let me tell you another crazy thing that I don't think a lot of people are familiar with. You know, this is infamous. This is a graffiti magazine. The majority of the lowlifes from my side, especially from MGV and all that, everybody was a graffiti writer first. Okay. Most of the people you see and you hear about, like Haz, Beck Live, Disco, all these people got their names from being graffiti writers. You know what I mean? Like, we all we bombed the train. I bombed the trains. I hit the layups. I did throw-ups. You know, I did top to bottoms with my man Haz. You know, I mean, I wasn't, you know, like I said, my interests changed because at the same time as I was graffiti writer, I was a super breakdancer. And I'm talking about a person, you know, as a young kid practicing 10 hours a day and every day. So, you know, I had mastered everything within breakdancing, every move, you know, everything that had to go hand in hand with it. And, you know, I didn't master all the graffiti aspects, but, you know, that was actually the first love for everybody within hip-hop, you know, as far as our team is concerned. And, you know, all that went hand in hand with the fashion. That's how the polo evolved. It was a fashion evolution. It didn't start people just wearing polo. You know, I wore the Puma suits. I wore the Adidas suits. I was fly way before we thought about polo. You know, I did the gazelles, I did the sheepskins, the shell toes, the Kangos, you know, and I can honestly sit here and say, no, I'm not big-headed or nothing, but I've never seen anyone else have the fashion evolution documented in the way I documented within my pictures of my life. Because I showed all those eras. You know, I showed the Beaver Kangos with the leather blazers. You know, I showed every era of what hip-hop fashion and style was. Montnecks, you know what I mean? And to all the way into when the polo hit, you know, and it was a phase before polo, the Benetton, the Coca-Cola, the Mickey Mouse stuff. There was a lot of things that brought it to be polo and made polo the dominator. You know what I mean? Right.
Catch me forgetting that Coca-Cola shit, man. That shit was tough for a minute. But yeah, I think it's you know, it's interesting that you speak on that. I mean, that's what got me into my boosting was stealing paint, you know, and then stealing other stuff, and eventually cats from New York was like, yo, can you get us low? That they was living in Camden, Jersey, you know what I mean? And I know Interview Mayhem, same thing with him. He said that was his gateway activity that led him to being into the low life. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that, you know, that's a good look, you know, historically, that it's relative to graffiti and just in hip hop in general, you know, just the culture overall, you know, was combined with fashion, breakdancing, graffiti, MCing, DJing. You know, a lot of people don't correlate all aspects of it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them never touched all aspects. You know, I touched every aspect of hip-hop. You know what I mean? I lived it. I mean, 100% every single day. It's a religion to me. You know what I mean? I'm a biter. You know, there's certain rules that apply. To me, the certain rules still apply. You can't be a biter, man. Motherfuckers biting styles and every day. I can't do that shit. That goes against the rules, man. You got to be original. You got to come with your own shit. That's what I felt. You know, throughout my entire career, I think I've proven that. I've showed people I'm 100% original. If anything, a lot of people follow my style, follow my flow throughout the underground and all that because, you know, we set the standards, and that's what it's about. Like, the way Low Life is now and how big it is, you know, through the social networks and stuff, we set the standards to where everybody wants to look like this. Everybody wants to sound like this, and everybody wants to rap about this, what we've been rapping about.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I showed people how to flood the low. A lot of people talked about the low, but nobody ever flooded the low the way I did. I started it with the album covers flooding it, and I took it to the videos flooding the low. Before that, it was never done except for when Ziggy did it, and Boost and Kev had did it back in the days when he shot his stuff.
Right.
I mean, but I really show people how to flood it, accessory-wise, all that. Even, when I'm doing film-wise, I'm sure you saw my How Low You Can Go episodes.
No doubt.
Like that. So, a lot of this stuff, this is real stuff. I'm not fronting on none of this, Like those How Low Can You Go episodes, a lot of them things I got, I had them for so many years. And a lot of that should be gifts from my family.
Right.
Christmas, my kids, my sisters, everybody buys me polo gifts. You know what I mean?
Nice.
And it stacks up, man. People don't know. It stacks up. I do shit effortlessly, man. Like, I'm not, like today, a lot of people are really, they hypnotized by the low. But me, I'm not. I don't care about it. It's
right.
just what I do naturally. I put no effort into what I do anymore when it comes to the low. It's just another natural instinct for me now.
No doubt. No doubt. We're going to wrap this up, though. Any shout-outs, anything you want to say to the people?
I mean, keep it original, man. Support real hip-hop. You know what I mean? Support New York. Support the low-life movement. And, let's take it mainstream. As people know, check me out on Facebook, Thirstin Howl III. You can check out my website, thirstinhowlthe3rd.com. Make sure you check out my YouTube. I got like 100 videos up there. Got 100 more in the stash waiting to throw out. You know what I mean? And, let's make it happen, man. Let's bring it back, man. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
And my elders for real, and they forever. You know what I mean?
No doubt. This is Filadel Castro, Infamous Mag, signing off with Thirstin Howl III, Big Vic Low. Peace.
Peace.
I was born with a warrior soul. Brooklyn built Barbarian bone.